over. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. Well, it's not happy for everybody. It was raining out there this morning, so my dog is not happy because that means we had to skip our WALK, which is always upsetting. It's not fair. And I should be able to do something about that rain, but no, I just kind of refuse. Alright. Put on some music for myself. Give that a try. Throw that on. That should be enough. Alright. I'm playing with these set of action figures I got. There's 6 of them in the kit. And so far I really like them. I think they're really handy. So definitely recommend it as a tool. It was funny, I was showing these to some faculty yesterday, and one was like, well, the necks are too short. I'm like, eh. Beyond that, like, they're pretty good as a reference source. Coming up with a pose. I always elongate the neck or thin up different parts. But, you know, everybody's got an opinion, except me. Alright. That's good, I think, up there. So what are we going to do for poses today? We should start off with like a real pose. Here's my figure drawing reference here. Must be under action pose. All right. We'll take this. This is pretty good. Forward, push that one back. Twist. We look back. Come back here, you. That's totally wrong. There we go. It's a little bit more dynamic. work in this area. Good evening, everybody. Change the angle on that head just a little bit. Good Saturday, everybody. How's everyone letting know their Lord and Savior Saturn is appreciated today? Good morning, everybody popping in. I think we know where we're going to work today, and zoom in here a little bit on the overhead camera. Is it jittering? Yeah, it's jittering. I probably have to eventually restart that one. Should just restart it every day by default, I guess, or turn it off. The OBS, sometimes it can be a little janky on my ancient Mac. Spider-Man? No, I have new models. these guys. Got a set of 6 of these. Got one posed up there right now. They're really good. So that's what I've got out here today. I was talking to somebody about those the other day in here. I was like, I should just order them, see how they go. Yeah, so yeah, they're handy, I think, to have around. But yeah, they seem pretty handy. So for a set of 6, it was like $25 or something, which is pretty good for all that. I think seems like they they hold their poses really well, and good morning, everybody. Let's see. That's a really good song. should go there. Good morning, people coming in. Closer. There we go. That's better. Head feels off. If I had a way on these streaming services of getting rid of anything that says mix in it, it's like, here's your song that you like, but worse. It's one of my pet peeves about the streaming services. It's like, here's this thing you like, but it's not good. I don't know why they do that too. It's just like a flood of remixes. It's like, come on, I don't want to hear that. Anyone else run into that? I don't see it as much anymore. Maybe it's because I mostly just listen to an album. But you'll get the, you maybe start listening to a song as an album, or just listening to a song as a playlist. And then they'll play that same song again and again, but with remixes. You're just like, why? No, thank you. that shoulder up would help. All right, and try a little Baroque fashion on here. Good morning, everybody popping in. Happy Saturday. I love how YouTube always has the worst suggestions. It's like, here's a yo-yo competition. I'm like, why would I want to have anything to do with that? Yeah, it's very perplexing to me. I never understand suggestions I get off of YouTube. They have like the big banner. It's like, here's this yo-yo competition series, or today it was bunnies. I'm like, what? Yeah, I wish the black, the black color pencil I'm using, I wish it was just a little bit tougher. Good morning. Gotta keep this tip sharp, huh? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh yeah, yeah. That's fun. I have one of those. I think you may have seen me use it around here, but I picked up one of those to do the lettering in that little test comic I did a while ago. Um, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, there's good guides on like how to use it online. Um, but I think there's something about I've been paying attention to kind of older lettering, and I don't know. I kind of like the idea of that hand lettering. I might try and do it so it's not on the page itself in the future, and like put it on separate pieces or on like a transparency or something like that. But just so you can move things around more easily. But maybe not. Spawn Vault Edition, huh? I keep drooling over that Batman Year One Artist Edition. Oh yeah, like full size everything. Those are really incredible. You can get those these days. Like it's just like, yeah. Because I was looking at a copy at Lightbox. There was a company there that had it there. There's so many art books I want to get right now. I just picked up 3 that I haven't really gone into, which is a book on it's called How Things Work, and it's kind of a visually illustrated guide on like mechanical principles and everything up through like drones and Wi-Fi and all kinds of techie stuff. And then I also got these cross-section books. Maybe if I finish this up quick, I'll pull those out. Yeah, it's just yeah. I have the I did get the artist edition for Extremity from Daniel Warren Johnson's Kickstarter last year. I was actually my brain didn't register how big it would be when I ordered it. So when this like gigantic box showed up at the house, um, I was quite shocked by it. Um, yeah, I mean it was just like didn't realize it'd be so gigantic. Yeah, I was sharing some of these books with, and these actually I was sharing these with my colleagues yesterday. We had a couple of department meetings that I went to, different parts of the day. But I brought these in, and one of our figure drawing instructors, he's like, "The neck is too short." And I'm like, maybe, but it's not bad. It's pretty close. It's not, you know, for what it is. It's you can always elongate the neck a little bit when you're drawing. Same thing with the proportions, like they're standard proportions, but you can make the legs longer or the arms thinner or bigger or whatever you want to do. He was like, I just thought it was, a little picky. Yeah, that comic I was doing before, that was the first one I've ever done. I think I'd done like some little pages or whatever when I was a teenager. But nothing beyond that. But yeah, I just thought it was funny that seemed like he was somewhat annoyed by it. It's like, why is the neck so short? I'm like, it's like $4. And it's better than those wooden ones, But yeah, but I just thought it was a funny complaint. Everyone, they're all different kinds of characters there at the school, but oh yeah. Yeah, I need to get my little concept project here back on track, finished. Finished writing up the story treatment I had put together. And then, because I wanted to finish like some character design things. I just hadn't made any final decisions on them. I think I finally come to some acceptance about what I'm going to do with them. The guide, the bureaucrat, and the child. I don't even have proper names for them. But, like, I know how I want the kid to talk. And actually, I know how they all want to talk. So, like, the main character, the guide, she is going to say very little for the most part. Like, she's wants to be seen as the consummate professional, and so she's not going to be talking a lot. The little kid, I've decided she's going to have. I had one of my nieces when she was, I don't know, a couple of years ago or a year ago or whatever. She would start all of her sentences with "Did you know?" I want to go with that for the kid, so she's always spouting off something based off of "Did you know?" And then the bureaucrat, he's going to be over-explaining everything all the time. So too many words. So it was kind of the voices I wanted to kind of give the characters in terms of how they speak. I just need to come up with some names for them. So those are decisions I made a while ago, but I just have to. Yeah, it's just again, I've been paying attention to older comics, and there's just something about that older lettering that that has a lot of personality to it because every letter was hand written, and I think that definitely, is an important difference that they can make. I think there's something to be said for thinking about things that way. But I like to fill in these pages. I'm going to do some studies. Pulled up a Travis Charest page. I'm going to do a little sketch right here. I wish Travis would do like interiors. I love all the little pinups and the commissions he does and all that. Follow him on Instagram. His that series he did with Space Girl. Got the book for that. I don't remember if I've shown that here or not. But but I remember when his Wildcat stuff was coming out, it was just like he's like, oh, this guy's pretty good. It's a little messy. The first like issue he did, and then you kind of watched it just kind of explode in quality over that like 6 months period or something like that. It was kind of insane to watch. Yeah, it's like this. What's one of the things interesting about any kind of artistic practice is the level of the amount of things there are to learn, and a lot of times they're all really interesting. It's it's all kind of worth it to a certain degree. Problem is you run into is you only have the one life to give to it, as it were, and that's probably a good way of practicing. I know most pros probably just say, "Hey, just use the computer." Even people that are do really intensive drawing, they're probably like, "Well, just use the hand it off to Letter and let them manage all that on the computer." I don't know if you're kind of doing your own project. I think it could be a good thing to like say, "Hey, it's hand lettered and all that's been designed." So, but I think there's always feels like there's something worth paying attention to. It's one of the problems I have. So a lot of artists, most of the ones I know, they just they have one thing they really like to do, and that's what they do. And I've always been the kind that it's like, oh, what about this? What about that? What influence would that have on what I'm doing? How could that help something, or that just looks really interesting to learn, which is an endless source of waste. Not wasted time, but used up time that I have going on. But that's part of the fun of it too, because there's so much to do. That's part of the reason why the AI stuff is really annoying, because it just says, well, you could learn how to understand what's going on around you. You could do all that, but we don't really care. And you could gain insight from how you use your materials and come up with original solutions. But hey, we've got this regurgitation machine that you can access instead that will make you feel like you've accomplished something. Isn't that better? And think of all the time you save. Now you can spend more time watching TV or whatever. Just imagine all the possibilities of things you would do with your time if you didn't have anything worth doing. Imagine. Yeah, it's like part of what I think. I'll hear people say, "Oh, AI is going to take over comics." I'm like, no, it won't. Because part of what people read the comics for, what the collectors want, is it's hard to produce these things. So like if you're just thinking collectors markets, like it's hard to make a well designed, well drawn comic, like especially someone like intensive, like a Travis Charest type. It can take him years or months or years to finish a single issue because of all the craftsmanship going into it. And that's part of what sells the story, is that here's this person, they're taking a story, and like I've got the Wolverine X-Men, well that's a Wolverine Wildcats crossover that he did with Zealot and Wolverine versus Nazis in the 40s, and part of what sells that to me is that this is something Travis Charest worked on and crafted together into this beautifully rendered story, and it wasn't just like spat out in a moment's thoughtless attitude. And you'll get these people who are talking about, well, you can produce more, and I'm like, well, is like volume of production, is that really what we want? Just sounds like just sounds like a method for getting a whole lot of stuff that you don't actually want. Yeah, because you're paying for the style, you're paying for the character, you're paying for the craftsmanship, you're paying for it's like I kind of like, I'd much rather buy a comic that's traditionally drawn over one that's digitally drawn. If I have if I can see the option, like I can definitely see it when I look at what's his name, Greg Tocchini. Like I definitely prefer his traditionally drawn stuff, or his I prefer analog media or real media over traditional. But you can definitely tell the difference when he switches over to digital. Like there's feels a little hollower. So I noticed that in the Low book, where it would kind of transition from, I think towards the end he was doing more digital stuff on it, but it's definitely visible in the book. And he's still really great. He's a good storyteller, and beautiful drawings and all that. But you can definitely feel the difference in the work when he switches from, his inks and watercolors or whatever he's using. Yeah. And even if you could get, say, an AI system to emulate what they're doing, it's like you always kind of know that it's not them. And as soon as, even if you don't know, as soon as you find out, it's always disappointing. It's always oh, well, it's always disappointing. Yeah. It's like in my Infinite Painter app, I made some screen tones. In fact, I need to kind of finalize that inking set I made in there. It's handy for certain things. Like I said, if I'm doing like a comic, I'm going to do it all traditional. I've seen people like they'll do kind of the initial layouts digital, just because it's easier to move things around a bit. But yeah, but I made an inking set for Infinite Painter that I think is really nice, and I want to put it up for sale. I don't think would have the same. It won't have the same customer base as you'd get with, the Procreate people, but. Yeah, doing a little Travis Charest study over here. Yeah, but anyway, I made some some halftone or screen tone brushes. There's ones that come with it, but these ones work differently than the ones that come with it. The ones that come with it, like, they'll vary in pressure sensitivity, and the one I made is more of like a pattern based thing, so so you can use they have these shape brushes. I forget the exact word for them. Basically, you draw a shape and it fills that shape in with a color or tone or something like that. You can get that in Clip Studio Paint, but in yeah, that's handy too. People will bring in images of vehicles and things like that. I do have mixed feelings about kind of the tracing of vehicles or architecture. I think maybe it has a place, but at the same time, like, I think it definitely changes the style if you do that. But but I was like, well, you mentioned Chris, Bacala or Bachala, however you're supposed to say his name. And I remember back when he first started like coloring his own stuff, and he would just drop like photos of like grass or clouds or bricks or whatever into the images, and it would just like throw off everything. Like, his work should not have photo textures as a background. Any kind of traced architecture always just feels wrong because it doesn't line up with the individual character of the artist. I think I was reading a thing or saw an interview with Sean Gordon Murphy, and he was talking about it because they were asking, "Oh, do you trace your vehicles because they look so amazing, right?" And he says he sometimes uses 3D models, but he never traces them. At least that's what he said. I don't know if it's true or not, but and he's built them, right? So he'll build like little models and things. He likes cars, but he says he doesn't ever trace them. He just references them. So he'll put like the vehicle in the correct position, but he doesn't trace it. He draws it. Because you have all these like one of the plugins I have with Blender came with a bunch of cars, like classic cars and things, and so I haven't really used that particular one because I just haven't had any need for it. But yeah, well, again, there's something to be said about the things that you do as a result of careful and patient study of things. That there's things that you kind of understand or stylize or simplify or opportunities for expression that you lose out on when you just do like a rote tracing, or even these days you can put a filter on it or something like that. Like I don't remember who the artist was, but there was an artist who would it was just like photo filters over photographs, or it felt like all the faces and the expressions and the locations were all just traced. Like he'd taken a couple of friends out, photographed them, based off his storyboards for his comic, and then I don't remember who it was, but it always kind of just feels like a mess to me. Or maybe they traced him on a light box or something. I'm not sure what the process was, but it's clearly very photo based. It wasn't drawn. Yeah. Yeah. And again, for me, it's not like the worst thing. It's more of just like it definitely sticks out, and so I don't tend to like it. I'd much rather see the way James Herron draws a building, or Jim Lee, or um, yeah. But again, for me, it always just one of those things that just really sticks out, and I don't like it. It's like it's like you're listening to some music that you really like. You're relaxing to some Pink Floyd or something, and then all of a sudden somebody starts screaming at you. You're like, ah. Got a little pin right here in the neck. I would love an artist edition of Wolverine in the Wildcats or X-Men Wolverine. Wonder how hard it would be to get one of those going. I think I'd kill for that, actually. So I know Charest, he was doing digital stuff for a while, but he was working hard to like make sure it was as meticulous as his pencils. I think like a lot of the Space Girl stuff at a certain point was digital. Yeah, imagine they've got scans. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it was all scanned in. It was still, digital, digitally turned in back then. But um, but that would be an awesome artist edition to get put together. I should write somebody a letter. Can we get that? Maybe Jim Lee will listen to me. I bet it would, probably make millions of dollars. I'd buy, a set for sure. That's just like bait for me. That's what interesting about Charest's stuff is that it's very detailed, very tight, but it never felt stiff. Like I think there's a certain stiffness in the ones I'm doing right now. I definitely know how to loosen it up where it's more gestural, but I'm trying to kind of find where there's that kind of detailed approach where things still feel like full of life. And maybe it's worth doing some more studies of Il Maestro Charest to kind of figure that out a little bit more. Well, let me get my white daubs on here. Get this touched up here. Move this up. I gotta restart my. If you go watch like the YouTube one, I'm pretty sure there's some jankiness going on. I think I have to restart OBS. I have it kind of broadcasting from my main computer to my older MacBook. And the reason I do that is if I wanted to record what I was doing on the camera, I don't want to have all the stuff on top of it. So I have all the overlays on the Mac and none of them on the PC. But Yeah, but that would be an incredible artist edition to get a hold of. I think it would be huge. It's cleaning up around the eyes when it dries, and then I think we'll be done for the morning study session. So. All right. After tea, charade. Today's date is 25/02. Oh, hey, we are trucking along with the year. We are already a month and a week into the new year, so. Sannin Philo. All right, everybody. Well, thanks to everybody that came in. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you all next time.